Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm returning to you this morning or kind of late this morning, I guess you could say. Uh, well, pretty late this morning for a album review, and this is for the first new album review that I'm doing out of the four that I'm going to be reviewing. This coming up Friday's releases for this first album I'm reviewing is for Marshmello's new album Shockwave that I just got done listening to. So I'm gonna discuss what I listened to for this album and let you know my thoughts on it. So let's dive into this review. Now I gotta say, this was not a bad album, but there were moments of ear gritting stuff that kind of bothered me with how the electronic work was sounding from time to time. Like there were certain noise points in the song where there was kind of a bit of ear gritting noise. I'm just being honest if I can just giving my honest opinion about what I've noticed while listening to this album. But the Marshmello's actual name is Christopher or whatever, and his production work's not too bad. His DJing work is not bad. Certain songs he does well with it, and then there's some other songs that on this album that kind of make me cringe. Like Bad Bitches was a little disappointing, to be honest. It wasn't a bad song. I liked the beat, but it was average at best. Uh, it's supposed to feature Nitty Gritty and Megan Thee Stallion, but Megan Thee Stallion doesn't even fucking rap in this song, and I was really disappointed. I was like, where's her rap verse or whatever in this song? So Marshmello kind of screwed up on that part. In my personal opinion, he screwed up on that part. Fairy Tale was actually not a bad one. I really liked it. Supernova Cane was very good. Um, Jiggle It featuring Troy Boy was actually one of my favorite songs. Back It Up featuring DJ Slink and Mrs. Porsche, I think, is in the song. It mentions her name in the song, but it doesn't have her as a featured artist, but I guess you could say Mrs. Porsche, I meant to say. I said Porch by mistake. Please forgive me on that. um, she wasn't bad. At least she was rapping. And track number 6 on this album was very disappointing to me. Uh, Back in Time was not a bad one. Vibrate was uh, pretty solid. Not my favorite song on the album, but it's alright. Then you have Hida featuring Eptic and Juicy J. I'm just looking at it on my. I'm sorry if you heard that Xbox ding. It's my controller batteries are low on my Xbox, so I gotta change them in a moment. After this review, I'll do that. But House Party was a little bit annoying, to be honest. Like, I don't mind electronic music sometimes. It just depends on if it gets to a point where it gets a little ear grating to me. Because nowadays, with EDM, electronic music, it's not for me anymore. It's iffy with me. Uh, like, I don't mind certain ones, but I gotta be in the mood for it, kind of thing. And this morning I heard this and I was like, well, I think my opinion's changed on electronic music, kind of thing, is what I was saying. But I don't hate Marshmello's music. He's actually a pretty good DJ artist and an electronic artist as well. But there are certain songs that are a little iffy on this album. Like Pushin' Stacks was a little bit annoying, featuring Peekaboo. And then Shockwave was a pretty solid closer. Uh, Not the best closer, but to the album, but it's not too bad. Um, So, yeah, I don't know if I'd come back to this album very much, but it's average at best. Uh, so it's not his worst album, but it's not a bad album, I guess you could say. uh, like I said, Candy Kid, I forgot to mention Candy Kid featuring Sippy. That was not a bad song, but there were some moments in the song that felt needed a little work with how the electronic work was sounding because it was being overplayed and overproduced and all that, in my personal opinion. But keep in mind, it's just my opinion at the end of the day. You don't have to agree with me on what I thought of the album. It's just how I felt when I was listening to this record. But overall, I think Marshmello's Shockwave album was average. Not something I'd come back to a lot, but something I'd listen to from time to time if I'm in the mood for it, of course. uh, but pretty much I wouldn't come back to this album very much, just from time to time. So for a score, I think I'm gonna give Marshmello's Shockwave, his new studio album that is coming out tomorrow, a 7.5 out of 10. It's average. It's, in my opinion, it's average. But keep in mind, everyone else has got their own opinion about what they think of an artist, a band, or whatever. Uh, so you don't have to agree with me on what my overall thoughts were on the album. I'm just pointing out, giving my point of view on what I think of this album. And yeah, so at the end of the day, it's just my opinion. Uh, so yeah. Um, Comment below. Let me know what you guys thought of the new Marshmello album, Shockwave, if you've heard it. And if you like this album review that I made for you guys late this morning, comment below and let me know your thoughts on it. Tap like on this video if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you can, support the channel. I will be returning to you for another album review, and it'll be for Danny Elfman's Big Mess, I think I'll be doing next. I don't know if I'm gonna get to the AFI Bodies album today. I'm still trying to find the album, of course, and Maroon 5's Jordy is, they haven't leaked it yet, but they'll probably leak it eventually. And yeah, that'll be it after those next three album reviews I do. That's gonna be it for this Friday's releases, so I think next Friday is going to be a little less albums I'll be reviewing. I think only two. Styx's new album and Fear Factory's new album. And then the 25th I'll be doing two albums as well. So I think the month of June I'm going to be a little busy with album reviews, but yeah, July is going to be kind of a bore fest for new albums to come out. So I'm a little disappointed in the July releases. There's only a few I'm interested in, and then, yeah, the July releases for new albums is probably gonna suck. Meaning, when I mean by suck, it's not gonna be a lot of July releases. So I'm a tad disappointed. But I hope you did enjoy this album review for Marshmello's Shockwave. I did the best I could to make it as good as possible. He's not a bad DJ artist, just there's some production work in this album that tend to get on my nerves a bit. Uh, but it's just how I'm viewing this album, I guess. But it's an album I'll come back to from time to time, I guess you could say. But yeah, sorry for my yawning. I tend to do that quite a bit in some of my videos, but stay safe, take care. Hopefully you enjoyed this album review I made for you guys late this morning, and I'll see you in my next video.